Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
What's going on, Habibis? I'm Siraj Hashmi,
I'm Jay Kobbe.
and we're the Habibi Bros. Welcome to another episode of Habibi Power Hour live on Rumble. How you doing, Jay? Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, October.
It's pre-Friday, baby.
It is a Rev Day of Reckoning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A Rev Day of Rage.
Or Rev Day of Rage. I mean, because we really had to catch our breath from yesterday, from the Wednesday day of rage. From
What was it? It was like the day of unprecedented frustration.
Something like that. I don't know. Like a never-ending constipation.
Ooh, I like that.
I have no idea why they come up with these different days of rage. And on Wednesday, out of all times, why Hump Day? Hump Day is
that Hump Day is meant to be sacred, Jay. That is specifically for humping.
Yes, right? And also it's like to just skate on by. You know what I mean? Like just let it go. You don't really work too hard.
Yeah,
it's like a Friday in the middle of the week where you don't really do anything at your job. I mean,
well, at least we don't.
I hope nobody at Rumble's watching this, but next Friday is my last day where I'm working currently.
Mabruk, Habibi. Very congratulations. That is wonderful news to hear.
Allah Barafik. I cannot wait. I'm going to be
very excited to have you come out here to Florida, where we will wage the jihad against the infidels who specifically
work at New York Times and Washington Post.
We don't when we say infidels, when we say infidels, we don't actually mean like non-Muslims. In this case, we just mean like
the Jews. I mean journalists.
Yes, that too. Specifically our producers, Spencer and Ben, even though only one of them is Jewish.
Yeah, but Ben's retarded, so isn't that like kind of the same thing?
That's true. Yes, it is kind of the same thing. Yes, it is October 19th, Thursday. I'm going to try to say the date before every episode so if people watch this sort of like later on, they at least get some context. But yes, it's October 19th in the year of Allah 2023. And this is an interesting week, so to speak, Jay. Didn't realize I was going to rhyme right there, but that's what you had when you listen to nonstop 90s hip hop.
90s hip hop, baby. They rhyme it with like just generic fucking words. It's so crazy. I was listening to I'm trying to get into the 90s hip hop stuff. So when I get over there, you know what I mean? I can actually tolerate being in the car with you while you're rapping to fucking, Tupac and Biggie and shit. And I
rarely listen to them.
Weren't they in the 90s?
They were.
Or is that rap? Is that like gangster rap? And then there's like hip hop, and then there's like gay stuff that you listen to.
Literally all the same shit.
Oh, gotcha. So, but there's different genres. Like when you listen to the Wu-Tang Clan, that's when they know you're gay.
Right. That's how you know I'm gay.
No. Anybody who listens to it.
Anybody who listens to Wu-Tang. I'm going to have them show up at my door and beat all 9 members, even the dead one, beating my ass for basically not coming hard in defense of the Wu-Tang Clan.
All I heard is that I listen to Wu-Tang Clan and I like getting beat in my ass, so I come.
Same thing. It's the exact same thing. Man, we've had I like this. I like the spacing of the show because we do this every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. East, 7 p.m. Pacific, live on Rumble. And then we basically do a replay of it the next day over on your YouTube channel. But we also post this on our podcast networks like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. So Rumble really gets the first crack at this, and it's live and uncensored. So if you want to get more of this content, go ahead, hit that like, that thumbs up, follow, join button. And there is actually a special promo code right now happening on our locals. If you use the locals promo code, I think it's correct me if I'm wrong. Oh yes, Siraj takes it in the chest. I'm sorry, takes it on the chest. Siraj takes it on the chest. There's a link in the description of this this stream. You can actually get a free extra month off of a $50 annual local subscription. That's already, it's $5 a month. So $50 for 12 months, you're already getting 2 months free with that annual sub. You get an extra month free. That's 9 out of 11 months, Jay, right?
I think I'm following you with the math. You're the Asian.
Yeah, 9 out of 11 months.
Yes.
In which you get to engage with me and Jay directly, and as well as the Habibis. And Jay, what are some of the benefits of joining the locals?
Well, one thing is that you're going to be able to watch me wax his chest live on locals. So the reason why the code is Siraj takes it on the chest is because he lost on the Habibi Fantasy League, our first game against one another. And that's another thing you guys can join with us. I'm trying to do almost every Sunday or every other Sunday, do recaps with the Habibis on the Fantasy League and also do some gaming with them too.
That's right. And you also get to join our non-pores chat that's currently happening right now on locals while you're watching the stream. So we actually get, it's a lot more intimate, more fun, a little bit more sensual, a little more sexual, Jay.
Yeah. We also talk about nonsense stuff too, on the chat. I realized
like 90s hip hop.
I was researching for when I come to Sarasota, and I was kind of disappointed because I was looking at the Asian population in Sarasota. It's only 1,000 people, 1,000 Asians there. But luckily, Tampa has like 17,000, and that's only like a 40-minute drive, so it's not too bad. Like I'm not going to be that out of place.
You'll be fine, Jay. You'll be fine. And if you don't find an Asian, there are plenty of old ladies who are looking for a young buck, so to speak.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm going to the what's it called, retired capital of California.
Yeah. So Jay, if you're looking to get an STD from the Great Depression, Sarasota is your place.
It is. And Sounder over on locals with a good comment says it sucks to be gay and poor. So join the non-pores chat so you can just be gay like he is.
That's right. You would be gay and rich. Meanwhile.
Exactly.
So with that being said, what's our first topic, Jay? There's been a lot of news happening in the last 48 hours since we last were with the Habibis on this.
I know it's kind of crazy that this month, like starting in the middle of this month towards the end, the holy war between Muslims and Jews has started. As people, I'm sure, know listening right here, the Hamas had committed a terrorist attack on the southern and one of the borders.
Wait, what was that? What are you talking about? Hamas did what?
Yeah, so let me catch you up to speed. I know you've been kind of out of it, doing your information cleanse, being off the grid for like a week. Yes, I know. Drinking your pumpkin lattes and just reading your scat books. Like I know that's exactly what you've been doing. But so Hamas about 2 weeks ago almost. They committed a terrorist attack, took hostages, and it was really the brutality of it, I think, that had shocked people around the world to remind people like of what Hamas is. And it's not only that, but it was a great preview on what would happen if there was no blockade. What will happen if Israel didn't block off Gaza?
Jay,
what will happen if they wanted a two-state solution?
Jay, I was told that these people were freedom fighters. What am I getting wrong here?
not being indoctrinated for 4 years on garbage bullshit from academia. I mean, we're seeing, this is really fucking hilarious because a lot of people like Douglas Murray and his people about like in 2010 or 2014, they were doing a lot of talks about how what is happening in academia is poison, and we're going to start seeing it here sooner than later happening in the real world. Like it's going to bleed out into the real world, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that as teachers. Like teachers are openly calling for the genocide of Jews, openly calling for the eradication of Israel.
Wasn't there a clip the other day of some professor, I think in New York, saying that he was exhilarated by the attack on 10/7?
Yes.
Exhilarated. That's not even like taken out of context. That is a direct quote.
Yes, and then you also have another professor of history at one of another prestigious university. I think it was.
Do you have screenshots? Do you have like you have a screen share of anything? While you're doing that, I'll just break down some of what this professor said while Jay's finding the other one. This specific professor got up in front of a rally, basically a pro-Hamas rally, saying he was exhilarated that there's now a shift in the monopoly of violence, meaning that now quote unquote white supremacist colonist violence is no longer there's basically a breakup of the two.
No, I know that's what's so sick about these people is that they're trying to find like equity and proportionality in everything. So they are trying to say that Israel deserved this because of their colonization of that land. And what's really funny about this and with these people is that they're always bad. They always talk about like indigenous people have the right to the land until it comes to the Jews. And it's fucking hilarious because like last night I texted you and I texted you in the group chat about the conversations I had with a group of people at dinner. And and it was fucking hilarious because they were talking about, just 75 years ago. And they kept on just talking about the name Palestine. They never, and every time, whatever they wanted to say and whatever like talking point or Hamas talking point or whatever talking point they wanted to talk about is the absolute truth. And then if I talked about history or if I talked about how, it was the before that, before it was named Palestine, before the Romans kicked them out and changed it to Palestine because of their hate of Jews, and they named it Palestine not because of the people, but because of the enemy the enemy of the Jews. And not only that, they're the two people I'm talking about are also very religious. So I brought up, it was so funny because you could see the moment their faces changed because I brought up King David and King Solomon. So I was talking to them, and I'm like, in the in Islam, where was King David, and where was King Solomon? Israel, the kingdom of Israel.
Oh God.
How do you not know this?
Oh no, I thought you were sorry.
Why do you think the Israeli flag is the king, the Star of David?
Jay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not like the biggest history buff on the Middle East. Which is sad because I really should know my shit.
Oh my God.
This is just one of those areas. It's just one of those areas where I specifically like, yeah, I'm very ignorant as to what's going on. But I am willing to admit this, okay? I'm willing to admit this on air that I am one ignorant motherfucker. So but yeah, you were saying you had this this sort of run-in at dinner. And
right. And then so now it's the same thing with all of these CRT and CRT professors and CRT history buffs and all that kind of stuff within these universities. This is a guy who's a professor of history at Berkeley, who's commenting on this other professor who's saying, "Don't hire my anti-Semitic law students. Would your clients want an attorney who condone hatred and monstrous crimes?" So he came in and said, yesterday published blah, 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 demanding not hire. Such is the level of intimidation, hatred directed towards our students across campus because they speak up for justice. So basically, he is condoning the rape of women and kidnapping of children and the beheading of children and everything, and claiming it's justice.
It's absolutely insane.
And you have these type of professors all across academia, and they need to, like, there needs to be a start in this country where we purge academia and we just like fucking burn it to the ground and start over. Maybe.
I'm glad you brought that up because our good Habibti Batya, I sent you actually, Jay. I sent you a link of Batya video, a clip from one of the. She was on the Fox Business segment. Batya we had actually on last week. I believe that's episode 190. This is 196, so that was episode 194. And she comes out with this tweet that says, "This was the week our press corps was revealed for what they truly are, the stenographers of terrorists." Let's listen in.
Sure your audience understands the depravity.
Maybe you could bump up the volume, Jay.
I'm trying, but for some reason it's not. This is the garbage. This is after.
What are you doing? This is the most boomer shit I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, are you watching? Are you watching how it's just disappearing? Yeah. Okay, you're seeing it too. You're seeing it too. Like I'm sharing my screen. Everybody sees what's happening. This is what happens when Elon took over X. This is not me boomering it.
I want to make sure your audience understands the depravity of what happened yesterday. So after committing the worst atrocities against Jews since the Holocaust, the organization that was involved in dismembering children alive in front of their parents sent out a memo to the American press corps 10 days later in which they said Israel had killed 500 Palestinians by bombing a hospital. None of that turned out to be true. Israel did not bomb the hospital. The hospital is still standing, and we don't know how many people were killed, but it certainly wasn't 500. But our press corps, like the stenographers of terrorists that they are, simply repeated this lie. The New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the BBC, the AP repeated Hamas's lie word for word. Why did they do this? Because they're all educated at elite institutions where they get woke mind virus. They cannot tell right from wrong. They cannot tell truth from falsehood. And they simply lie and lie because to them, Israel is the oppressor. And they spent 10 days having to describe atrocities against Jews. And they were just desperate to get Israel back into the oppressor position of the bad guy.
Oh, man. That is so fucking on point. It's unbelievable because
it was kind of hot. I don't think that was hot.
Jay, bonk, no horny. Well, okay, I'll let that one slide. The Batya is a good Habibti of the show. Batya the So, she's 100% right on this. The whole idea that the press corps, corporate press, would take a story from the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas and run with it right away. We never even saw the wreckage, Jay. We never saw any of the wreckage up until the morning after all the riots had started in the Middle East and all the U.S. embassies were targeted. Travel advisories were issued in places like Lebanon and now, I guess, in Iraq as well. It's a very dangerous time for really any Westerner to be in the Middle East, let alone Jews. But what's so wild about this is nobody decided to check on the validity of the claims. They just basically threw out a number saying that 500 Palestinian men, women, and children in a hospital were killed.
And they hit on mostly children. They hit on mostly children.
let it be known that there was zero fact checking of it. We didn't know exactly how many people were killed in the Israeli attack on 10/7 until several days later.
And it's still not fully counted for.
Exactly. The fact that you throw out 500 people is absolutely insane. I think I said on Tuesday that like maybe they just thought it was 500 people because of how many people may have been in the hospital, but like the hospital's still standing as evidenced by actual fucking footage.
Right. So it hit the parking lot, and it was a baby crater that had cars on fire. And and I think I don't know if it was Steezy, but I think Steezy like retweeted or something. But it's like we went from 500 dead to calling car insurance companies. Like that was the scope of it. And you had Jake Tapper quoting it on CNN that it was 300 dead. And then you had what's it called? You had the migration of the New York Times going from Israeli air raid killed 500 to changing to blast killed 500, and they kept the 500 dead. They didn't fact check it or anything. There's zero standards in media when it comes to reporting claims made by Hamas. Zero standards. They're not even letting you know that it is Hamas. They say the Palestinians say, or they say Palestine's health ministry says, or Gaza health ministry. And the thing is that every information, every single point of information that comes out of Gaza comes from Hamas. Does not come from anywhere else. It comes straight from Hamas. So they are just repeating terrorist lies over and over and over again without fact checking it whatsoever. And they put more scrutiny over a grandmother sharing memes on fucking Facebook than themselves sharing garbage from actual fucking terrorists. And it's exactly like she was saying, because right now, in their mind, Israel is on occupied territory. Right. They are the occupiers and occupied and all that kind of stuff. When in reality, Israel is probably the greatest decolonizer event in history. In history, they lost their land in 638 CE or whatever during the Roman Empire, and then they were able to come back and claim their land. Unless we don't, I mean, I don't know where the cutoff is for these people, because it looks like it's 75 years. So if the cutoff is 75 years, then they have to stop saying any kind of garbage about Native Americans and colonizing America. Yeah. Then they have to shut the fuck up forever about all of that kind of garbage too.
I think what's so wild though, Jay, is that in spite of literally everything, correct me if I'm wrong, but Palestine was never a state.
No, it was never a state.
It was never like a sovereign country that was recognized by the rest of the world as even a state. It was always like the Palestinian territories. Like, if you had actually like come together and formed a state, then maybe you would have a claim to this whole idea that Israel is like a colonist country. But they never had established that shit. So, it's, I mean, the United Nations, right? If I'm not, please, again, stop me, because this is, you probably know this better than I do, Jay. In 1940, was it 47, 48 when Israel was established?
47.
So that was 48. 47?
That's when they came out with the declaration.
Okay. And it was the United Nations, right? In the wake of the Holocaust and World War II, established a Jewish state, a place for a home for Jews. And yes, a lot of blood was spilled. There were wars. Arab nations basically fought, but they ultimately lost. The Jews are still there. An
important note is that they came in with a Arab state and a Jewish state. They didn't come in just with a Jewish state. They came in with both, and the Arabs rejected it.
So
the Arabs rejected it 3 times.
3 times.
And then three times. And then during the war where Egypt and Jordan joined in, Israel, after 6 days, took over the whole fucking thing from the West Bank all the way and took over Gaza. And then gave back Gaza to Egypt and gave back some of the land back to Jordan.
Mm-hmm. So, all this to say that with respect to like this whole idea of being a colonist country, it would be one thing if it was even remotely true, which it's not. But the fact that they keep using it shows just shows you how delusional people are. They call it apartheid, right, Jay? Apartheid. Apart thighs. Spread eagle. And it would be one thing, like they're just throwing labels of things that happened in the past that were bad. Apartheid in South Africa, colonization that happened throughout the last few centuries in Africa, Asia, East Asia, South America. And I think what we're seeing now, Jay, is when you're losing the war on ideas, you literally just hurl all the insults you can and all the labels you can to try to basically grasp some level of support. And really low information citizens, or well, I would call them voters, because that's the only time I ever use the term low information for voters. But basically, dumb motherfuckers, Jay, are going around and basically parroting all of these, made up talking points. Like all right, let me give you an example of one of the fucking things that is going around. I don't know if you watched Biden's address tonight. Did you?
No, I was working out.
Do you want to watch?
We can get some of the snippets.
There is a part in it that drives me nuts, and is specifically about Islamophobia. Do you? If maybe Jay has it right up on his screen. Maybe he doesn't.
Not.
We'll let him do some searching right now. Biden address Islamophobia. It really was something to behold. Maybe we won't find it. What did you type? No, it's not speech. Well, it is.
Here is the full speech. Thing? Yeah, where what?
I'd say it's like midway. Try clicking midway. Maybe like 7-minute mark.
Look, at the same time, President Netanyahu and I.
It's too quiet, Jay. You got to pump up the volume.
Critical need for Israel to operate.
It's all the way up. The guy is fucking.
No, it's not all the way up.
Civilians in combat as best as they can.
There you go.
And the people of Gaza urgently need food, water, and medicine. Yesterday, in discussions with the leaders of Israel and Egypt, I secured an agreement for the first shipment of humanitarian assistance from the United Nations. As I said in Israel, as hard as it is, we cannot give up on peace. We cannot give up on a two-state solution. Israel and Palestinians equally deserve to live in safety, dignity, and peace. And here at home, we have to be honest with ourselves. In recent years, too much hate has given too much oxygen, fueling racism, the rise of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, right here in America. It's also intensified in the wake of recent events that led to the horrific threats and attacks that both shock us and break our hearts. On October 7th, terror attacks have triggered deep scars and terrible memories in the Jewish community. Today, Jewish families worried about being targeted in school, wearing symbols of their faith, walking down the street, or going out about their daily lives. I know many of you in the Muslim American community, the Arab American community, the Palestinian American community, and so many others are outraged and hearty, saying to yourselves, here we go again with Islamophobia and distrust we saw after 9/11. Just last week, a mother was brutally stabbed a little boy here in the United States, a little boy who just turned 6 years old was murdered in their home outside of Chicago.
Yeah, that was fucking awful.
Was Wadiha, a proud American, a proud Palestinian American family. We can't stand by and stand silent when this happens. We must, without equivocation, denounce anti-Semitism. We must also, without equivocation, denounce Islamophobia. And to all you hurting, those of you hurting, I want you to know I see you. You belong. And I want to say this to you.
God, he sounds like he's going to die.
You're all American. This is in a moment, in moments like these.
This is not like I don't feel encouraged with a speech like this. I don't feel ready to rally behind his message. I feel like I'm worried he's going to die any second.
So the part that really was driving me nuts, and look, there are people who have died from Islamophobia, hate crimes, that the mother and the boy that that Biden just mentioned. Yeah. Horrible story happened in Chicago. Those are like isolated incidences though. Like Jay, I think you and I probably have spent a lot of time dealing with people of the non-Muslim variety. And I think you and I, over the course of, I think both of our lives, have met way more people who hate Jews with such intensity and almost like no logical sense than people who hate Muslims. Like, it's just not in the same play. It's just not in the same league in terms of, like, if you want to like talk about like the prejudiced Olympics or whatever the fuck,
victim.
It doesn't even belong in the same sentence. Anti-Semitism is so systemic across society as a whole. The fact that like you can get, like, for example, this particular instance on 10/7, what was the response from the Muslim community? It wasn't like, having sympathy and empathy for their Jewish brothers and sisters. No, it was celebration in the streets. Like, that's some fucking hateful shit.
Right. And it happened days and days afterwards. It's not like just like the initial thing. No, it was days and days and days afterwards. And days afterwards, they're calling for Israel to have a ceasefire and de-escalate. And not once have any of them talked about the hostages, or that Hamas should surrender and release the hostages, especially after something so fucking vile that they did. And I saw another video that was fucking hard to watch. It was a first responder in Israel talking about one of the houses that he went into. Now, the same people who were quick and who posted Hamas talking points without fact checking, not one of these people have I seen talk about this story. The only network he was on was Fox News, and he talked about how he saw children tortured in front of their parents, tied up face to face in front of their parents, where they were chopping off fingers and body parts and taking out the eyes of their parents. This is not a I mean, what and then you have people saying like we need a proportional response right after this happened. Like, what proportional response are you looking for? Are you looking for them to do the same exact thing that Hamas did? Do you want them to go and do that to random citizens and Palestinians? Like, what is proportional in this aspect that you're talking about? I think what Israel is doing in order to completely decimate and kill every single fucking Hamas member is a complete proportional response. And I think the only way to get them to stop, and the only just way for this to stop and to get them to stop, is for Hamas to completely surrender every official and release all the hostages. After that, you can say that is how you de-escalate the situation and how you have a peace.
Yeah, that is the path of most of the least blood being spilled, as Hamas surrendering and releasing all the hostages. Unfortunately, I don't think Hamas is going to go down that without putting up a fight, kind of like they've have done since they've uh, were created in 1987. I mean, they'd rather self-destruct and they'd rather all die than ever be, say in the Israeli justice prison system. But even then, like all of them will probably get the death penalty anyways.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and that's the proportional response.
I don't know if the death penalty is legal in Israel. Please, I defer to the Habibis in the audience and the locals chat. Please let me know. Maybe if Damon Toll, who is our legal scholar, our legal counsel, and our resident Jew, of course, since Spencer is away, maybe he could tell us. He's probably not even watching.
No, he's probably not. But you know what's fucking hilarious about this
getting
too?
A Mayo facial.
You know, did he? You watched it? Did he mention the American hostages? Did he mention like getting our American hostages back? No, American hostages
in the beginning. But here's the thing: like, all right, Biden gave a speech in Israel yesterday, and I was watching it, and I was thinking to myself, "Wow, this is the best speech I've ever seen Biden give." And as soon as I thought that he said something, I was like, "What the fuck did he just say?"
Oh, right. Oh, this was about the what's it called? The hospital incident. And where he was like, they need to learn how to shoot straight.
No. That was on.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. Like, was that?
That was on the plane.
that was fucking insane.
This one I can't fully recall. Oh, he announced that he was giving $100 million to the Palestinian Authority.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
And I was like, "What the fuck, bro?" Like the
that makes it's
he did it again tonight, and he basically reaffirmed his commitment to the Palestinian people, like in the same speech of people who are celebrating in the streets that 1,000+ Jews were murdered and scores others were kidnapped and wounded. Like this is just some of the most insane shit I've heard. And it's worse than that, Jay, because the rot is so bad. It's you know how we probably, I'd say before this whole war broke out in Israel, maybe a month before that, there was a report from, I want to say, was it the Atlantic perhaps, about the Iranian State Department, about the State Department and like the Iranian mole.
Yeah, it was. There was multiple outlets that did it, but I think the one that I forget the name of the outlet that broke that story, and the person is actually still under investigation and everything as well. We talked about it in like 2 episodes ago or something as well. Like we went over that.
Yeah, so we talked about it. There are now reports coming out of the State Department, the United States Department of State, that there's a mutiny happening, and it's specifically about the Biden administration's policy on Israel. And what's so wild about it to me is that they're not pissed off about the Palestinian $100 million going to the Palestinian Authority. No, they're pissed off about America's aid to Israel. Oh yeah, so this is the article, Washington Free Beacon. Iranian spies have infiltrated the American government, lawmakers warned. But there was an actual leak.
It was leaks, a significant security breach, according to letters sent Wednesday. The series of leaks, which have appeared in Iranian state-controlled propaganda outlets, constitute a significant security breach of U.S. government property by a foreign adversary. Now, and these were emails.
I don't know if people really understand like the severity.
It's semaphore.
Semaphore,
yes.
Yeah, maybe go ahead and share the tab because it's still on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go into it because I have to sign up.
No, Jay, don't sign up. This is what you do. You copy paste it, go into archive.is.
No, I'm in.
Okay.
So this is a pretty extensive report by Jay Solomon on the Inside Iran's Influence Operation, and it showcases 3 main culprits within the State Department. Like, this is within the own United States government that they have it. And
so that individual, Robert Malley, he is the main person of interest here, the suspect, so to speak, of being the Iranian asset, possibly a double agent. We don't know. I actually haven't gone through the entire investigation, but like everything that we're seeing right now doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? The Biden administration releases $6 billion in assets to the Iranian regime. I don't know what Robert Malley's role was in all of that, but judging from like just Occam's razor, for example, the simplest solution is usually the correct one, or the simplest answer is the correct one. I am of the belief that Robert Malley did basically let that happen, and did it because he was told to, like, basically push for it, even if he did not, was the final person to sign off on it. He was probably a major proponent in making sure those $6 billion, which are fungible, by the way, because a lot of people in the wake of the 10/7 terrorist attack in Israel, when it was discussed that $6 billion released by Iran basically went to go fund this attack, a lot of Biden officials as well as supporters, the talking points went out saying that, that money only went to food and into
humanitarian purposes,
like that, not realizing that money is fungible, and also there's zero oversight of this shit.
Right. I mean, there's no way you can actually monitor all of that. That's going to happen. And even, like, to your point about how money is fungible, is even if they use that for 100% humanitarian purposes, that frees up the money that they have on in their other bank accounts to be able to use for terrorist purposes, which they do. And the $100 million that we are going to send to Palestine is going to be used for terrorist purposes. There's no other way to look at it. I mean, even they even dig up humanitarian pipes to provide water to their people to create rockets and build rockets out of. Like that. This is what Hamas is and what you're dealing with when you're trying to say that when you're trying to do bothism on this conflict, and you really can't.
What about them? Yeah, that's what's so wild about this. We haven't even gone into sort of like all the fucking like problems with just the Biden administration on its own. So the State Department is having a mutiny right now based on the Palestinian quote unquote like oppression. There is even a guy who specifically resigned publicly on
from
LinkedIn.
The ADF.
No, from the State Department.
Oh, you're talking about the state. Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you. It's actually really crazy. Here, let me minimize the constant messages I get in LinkedIn being like, "Hey there, Siraj, you wanna connect on my LinkedIn?" It is.
Fuck, I have a old ass picture on LinkedIn like ages ago.
Yeah. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the basic premise is that this guy Josh Paul is resigning because he can't handle the U.S. government supporting Israel and letting another genocide happen. It's really wild stuff. And that got
can't share this on Twitter, but thought you both would.
Okay. Are we back? I hope we're back.
I think we're back. Are we back? Stream. Habibi's on the non-pores. Are we back? So
I am
so
so
either it was either it was Hamas or Mossad. But in reality, it was you hitting in stream instead of fucking hitting the tab. And we're back. All right, perfect.
We're back. Oh my god.
This man's not ready for Sarasota. Wait, who? Me or he's already been there.
Okay, let me tell you what happened, Habibis. Okay, for those of you who are just joining us, or if you saw that we dropped off, that's an oopsie daisy, much like what Hamas claimed was happening on 10/7. That was a major oopsie daisy, basically exact same thing. You know, I accidentally ended the stream. Hamas killed a bunch of Jews. You know, we'll call it. We'll just leave that in the past, shall we? No, let bygones be bygones. I can't believe that happened, Jay.
I know. It's so fucking insane. That's so hilarious. But it's something that we would do. Absolutely. It's something.
Right, so Jay,
Jay, we're blaming you.
Never let me touch the stream, okay? I am banned from.
Honestly, it's what's hilarious about this is that not only is your family disappointed and very dishonored at the fact that you're not an engineer or a doctor, but also in tech support, you're fucking garbage.
True. I am. Jay, you know what's so bad is that I have to go back and download both of these. Now they're two separate recordings, and I got to splice them together. So
Perfect.
Fucking pissed.
And I don't even remember what we were talking about.
No, we were talking about the. Oh fuck! What were we talking about? It was we were talking about Biden's address, all the $100 million going to Palestinian Authority. We didn't even talk about this. Ukraine was somehow packaged in the actual speech. Do you want to just pull up the speech right now? I'm pretty sure in like the beginning, Biden interweaves what's it called? He weaves the Israel attack on 10/7 with the ongoing war in Ukraine with Russia.
Holy shit! Where was that?
That was it, like in the beginning.
In the beginning of his speech?
Yeah, maybe the Habibis will know this better than I do if you happen to watch it. But man, that was some wild shit, Jay. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, but hey, man, we've been doing this long enough. Random shit's gonna happen to us.
That's true too. So while Jay pulls that up, here you go. Let's just go ahead and watch.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. We're facing an inflection point in history. One of those moments where the decisions we make today are going to determine the future for decades to come.
Let us know if you can't hear.
Talk with you about tonight. You know, early this morning, I returned from Israel. They tell me I'm the first American president to travel there during the war. I met with the prime minister and members of his cabinet. And most movingly, I met with Israelis who had personally lived through horrific horror of the attack by Hamas on the 7th of October. More than 1,300 people slaughtered in Israel, including at least 32 American citizens. Scores of innocents, from infants to the elderly grandparents. Israelis, Americans taken hostage. As I told the families of Americans being held captive by Hamas, we're pursuing every avenue to bring their loved ones home. As president, there is no higher priority for me than the safety of Americans held hostage. The terrorist group Hamas unleashed pure, unadulterated evil in the world. But sadly, the Jewish people know perhaps better than anyone that there is no limit to the depravity of people when they want to inflict pain on others. In Israel, I saw people who are strong, determined, resilient, and also angry, in shock, and in deep, deep pain. I also spoke with President Abbas, the Palestinian Authority, and reiterated the United States remains committed to the Palestinian people's right to dignity and to self-determination.
This guy's going to die. No way he has an extra 4 years in him.
No, not at all.
I'm heartbroken by the tragic loss of Palestinian life, including the explosion at the hospital in Gaza, which was not done by the Israelis. We mourn every innocent life lost.
That was like the most stupid way of doing that. That is so fucking retarded. Oh my God.
You know, the assault on Israel echoes nearly 20 months of war, tragedy, and brutality inflicted on the people of Ukraine.
Oh my God.
People that were very badly hurt since Putin launched his all-out invasion. We've not forgotten the mass graves, the bodies found bearing signs of torture, rape used as a weapon by the Russians, and thousands of Ukrainian children forcibly taken into Russia, stolen from their parents. It's sick. Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but they share this in common. They both want to completely annihilate a neighboring democracy, completely annihilate it. Hamas' stated purpose for existing is the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. Hamas uses Palestinian civilians as human shields, and innocent Palestinian families are suffering greatly because of them. Meanwhile, Putin denies Ukraine has or ever had real statehood. He claims the Soviet Union created Ukraine. And just 2 weeks ago, he told the world that if the United States and our allies withdraw, and if the United States withdraw, our allies will as well, military support for Ukraine would have, quote, a week left to live, but we're not withdrawing. I know these conflicts can seem far away. And it's natural to ask, why does this matter to America? So let me share with you why making sure Israel and Ukraine succeed is vital for America's national security. You know, history has taught us that when terrorists don't pay a price for their terror, when dictators don't pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos and death and more destruction. They keep going.
I think you got that. You basically got the idea now, Jay, that he somehow found a way to interweave those two. Yeah. Those two wars that actually don't have much of anything to do with each other. And actually, if you think about it, they're supporting literally one side that's entirely Jewish, and the other side is like, I'd say at least a majority Nazi.
Right.
Even if the president of that country is Jewish, obviously he's a puppet of the Obama-Biden like foreign policy like institution. So I have to ask, how is it? And also, if you think about it, the fact that those $6 billion in assets that went to Iran, as well as the $100 million that are going to the Palestinians, both are going to, you know, our taxpayer dollars are going to fund basically every side of these two wars.
The conflicts.
We are literally paying for this shit. This is like our real life entertainment at this point. Because apparently the writers of Hollywood ran out of ideas and decided to go on strike. What we're living in right now is a simulation, and this is the entire movie. It's AI made. So if you think about it, it's more meta than you think.
Right. It really is. And it's, I had that point last show about like how Israel and Ukraine are different. And what we're seeing here is more, it's more the way it's opening people's eyes to how much people in the United States itself hate the United States and hate what the West represents. Right. Because they see Israel as the colonizer, as the oppressor. So they see Israel as the West.
They see Israel as
and these people as the West. So the people who are out there like protesting, they protest and they support and they protest with Hamas because they don't care about the Palestinian people. They don't give a fuck about Palestinian lives. No. They care. They hate. They just hate.
They just hate.
They hate the West. They hate America more.
This was so wild, Jay, because you and I, deep down, we're pro-Palestinian. We are. And you know what that means? Unfortunately, it doesn't mean what most people think it means. It means we believe that the Palestinian people should not be they shouldn't be living in a state control or territory controlled by a terrorist organization.
Right.
And you have at least two of them, and then, well, maybe three of them. So you have the PLO, you have Hamas, and you have PIJ. Pakistani, no, not Pakistani. Whoa, whoa. Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Okay. So with that being said, they control everything. And the Palestinian people who are there, who actually have a stake in this, either have to go along to get along, which is what most of them do, or they actually believe in this shit and, willingly go along with it. Or they keep silent and or they resist outwardly and they're killed for it. So not much, wiggle room there. And I'm not saying that basically every Palestinian supports Hamas or is even innocent. I have no way of telling you. And do I think that, terrorist sympathizers should be killed? Of course not. But terrorists should. So anybody who's like aiding and abetting and serving and are complicit in sort of how Hamas has become such a major threat to Jews everywhere, let alone just to the last free state in the Middle East. It's really insane to think about how we're just letting Hamas get a pass on this. You see AOC, you see Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar all making some level of justification. They're sharing empty platitudes about like having a ceasefire, having peace. Like, no, that's at this point we're way past that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no such thing as peace until all of Hamas is destroyed. And Rashida Tlaib hates that because her buddies are Hamas. Like, she is a Hamas sympathizer and probably even talks to people in Hamas and all that kind of stuff. I will not be surprised in the fucking least if that happens. And one thing that people need to there is a deep in that region, a deep-seated hate and generalization of Jews from Arabs and from people in the Middle East that is on another level. Like,
it's on
this is you think like people like Nick Fuentes is like garbage and is a complete piece of shit. And that is a very small percentage of like the people here in the United States. It's a much bigger percentage in the Arab world that believes some of the shit that he says when it comes to the Jewish people.
I just can't believe you called him Nick Fuentes. Like, what is he fluent in?
Being gay.
Dick? Oh,
yes. Yeah. he is. He's gay.
Fluent sucking dick.
Yes, he is.
So, not that there's anything wrong with it. Okay, all right. Let's get all Seinfeld on you. Probably another Jew that Nick Fuentes hates. But also all of our uncles and aunties abroad probably think as well. It is not. Let's just say it's not foreign to me and Jay that anti-Semitism runs rampant in the Islamic community. It's really bad. And I don't think I've seen it on full display. Like, people proudly, espousing their hatred of Israel and it's not even Israel at this point. They use the terms Jews, Zionists, and the oppressor. Are there any other terms, Jay?
Nope. Jews, Zionists, and the oppressor.
Okay, and then they make this case that they're not anti-Semitic.
Yahud.
Yeah, Yahud. They make this case that they are not anti-Semitic, they're anti-Zionist. Like, I've heard that argument. You want to know why? Because I've used that argument before. Because at one point I was very much like in the camp of like Palestinian liberation.
Yeah, you're one of the people that are saying the same random garbage that is like, no, I'm not anti-Jew, I'm anti-Zionist. There's a difference, and let me show you what the difference is. You see, a Zionist has a nose like this, and a Jew has a nose like this. So that's the difference between being anti-Jew and anti-Zionist. And it's so fucking amazing to see that kind of shit happen. Like you talk about it long enough with somebody from the Arab world, they will start bringing up like, why do you think Hitler did what he did?
Yeah.
Why do you think they were pushing Jews out of Europe? Why do you think that? Why do you? And it's just like, whoa, calm the fuck down, sir. This is like, there are people around us. Like, I don't want to get hit. It's like, it's fucking insane. And they say it like it's a normal thing to say, like it's a normal way to have this argument about it. And to our other point about how things in the in campus is bleeding over to the real world, you have the ADL,
the Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, coming out with a week after Hamas' brutal terror attack in Israel, white supremacists continue to rail against Israel and the Jewish community. Like they are completely ignoring everything we've seen on campuses, rallies, calling for the death of Jews. We have seen them flying Palestinian flags and flying them and tearing down missing person photos of hostages who are taken by Hamas, tearing them down on campuses and everything. And what they want to do is they go and they target the white supremacists. And you had somebody resign from the ADL because Jonathan went on MSNBC.
Yeah, Jonathan Greenblatt.
To give it to the embassy on MSNBC and like, what the fuck are you guys doing? How the fuck are you guys just repeating Hamas talking points and everything? Yeah. Like the guy, honestly, if he really was what he's supposed to be and what the ADL is supposed to be, not going after people who are talking about fucking pronouns and not going after people because they want Kavanaugh to be seated as the Supreme Court, but actually going after people who are being anti-Semitic and making environments actively unsafe for their Jewish students, Jewish colleagues. That is what they're supposed to be going after. And there's probably, just like in the State Department, a bunch of bitch ass motherfucking pieces of fucking shit, new hire garbage from academia who just graduated law school from Harvard or something, where Harvard released all of those statements blaming Israel. And again, we saw nothing from the ADL condemning that shit. Nothing. But they found the 4 or 5 white supremacists out on the street. Look at that. They found the 4, but not the 80 fucking groups within the Harvard student body that signed their names blaming Israel and Jews.
Yeah, you're right. I actually don't know if anybody's ever followed up with the ADL on why they didn't. Now you have something here, Jay. You found these people who demonstrated. Let's challenge the ADL to hold on. They actually may have addressed the Harvard letter. Maybe. But did ADL find out who those people were those were the supposed white supremacists? Did they get all the names of those people? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like they have not come out and said anything about what they were seeing on college campuses.
Right, I know what I'm saying.
And now the ADL is retweeting.
What is that? What no?
Now this. They're retweeting now this. Now this is an Al Jazeera.
No, that's not. It's not now. No, hold on. Wait, is now this Al Jazeera? I thought it was. Yeah, look at it. Donate to relief efforts in Gaza, not in Israel. The fuck is this shit? Here, we gotta watch. Do we have to watch the video? Or are we watching the video?
No, we don't have to watch it.
I'm
looking for. I'm trying to find them condemning the college campuses.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to read some of the chats in our locals. I know some
because I don't want us to put our foot in our mouths and to see if they actually condemn them or not.
Yeah, we'll find it. If someone can find it, great. If not, no big deal. Sounder on local says, if Trump is in jail in November and Biden is dead, will the people vote someone in from jail or someone that's dead?
Probably somebody that's dead. Hold on. Support for Hamas.
Knowing our luck and knowing how dumb the American people are, they're probably going to vote for someone that's dead.
No, absolutely. That's how it's going to work. Again, I don't see anything from when this stuff started, but they are commenting on some of the rallies that they're seeing. But I wonder if they actually sent letters or condemnation on like Harvard.
While you do that,
I haven't seen it.
Jay, this is from Eli Klein over here. Try to zoom in here. Let me rewind. This is the video here. It says, holy shit, we have our work cut out for us in deprogramming a whole generation of anti-Semites. This is a high school in San Francisco.
That's fucking insane. Actually, I'm sorry. Actually, they've actually been doing a pretty good job on calling out a lot of college campuses and a lot of these.
Oh wow! So we actually don't have anything in this case.
No, they've actually been doing really well. So the reason why the other guy, there's a guy who publicly resigned from the ADL was because they were speaking this way about the protests and about people coming together, like talking about how absolutely vile display of anti-Jewish hate when they're doing these protests. And this isn't an isolated, and these aren't isolated incidents either. Like these in every fucking rally, every rally. And the thing is like they have ISIS flags, Taliban flags. Like they have a bunch of, and every single one of them, you have them with these chants, and also with the chants to the river, to the sea. They are
Josh in on locals, who's also doing a great job modding our chat right now. Shout out to Josh. And says, from the river to the sea, my mags are full of 223. I don't know if I said that right, but that's pretty good. I like that.
Nice. There is this one here that was really a good chant for it. Hold on one second. Hold on, I had a pretty good.
You have it on your computer? Where you finding?
No, I'm looking for it right now. Hold
on. Okay then. Well, while we're doing that, Master Thief says, Master Thief is actually living up to his name. Responding to Joshin's from the river to the sea, my mags are full of 223s. Master Thief says, oh, I'm fucking stealing that. Right there, like a thief.
So there was this one that came out, and there's something. So I tweeted, there's something in my pants they can decolonize.
Yeah.
And then we had this over here. From the river to the sea, ass looking come busted me. Yeah, these type of women will fuck your life over completely. Arab women are not something that you want to like fuck around with. They are
dude, never, just don't.
Yeah, I know
Just
from
don't.
a lot
They are
from
all insane.
they are very
They are.
fucking insane. Still would though.
Oh, man. Master Thief says to the window, to the wailing wall. It's good. I like that too.
Right. But honestly, I just want to say, like, from the other thing, good on the ADL for calling out a lot of these things on the college campuses. And I want to find this tweet from, as we're going on, the guy,
or the
I want to find the tweet of the guy resigning.
If you're just tuning in, and you're you scroll up, why was there a break between streams? It's because I accidentally ended the shit.
Yeah.
I was trying to stop the share, and instead, what I did was I clicked end stream.
So yeah, after after the ADL changed their tune and started going after the Palestinian protests and everything, you have some of them, like here, a senior researcher at the ADL named Stephen C. resigned from the organization today. I couldn't square my morals and politics with the direction I saw the org going in.
Wait,
so
what?
I just quit my job. And also, just so you guys know, this guy's a gay Jew, so Hamas would absolutely fucking behead him. Just quit my job. I think the ADL, I couldn't square my morals and politics with the direction I saw the org going. But there are times when you have to stand up and say enough. Enough what? Allow these people to continue their anti-Semitism and not be called out on it? Allow for what? At this point, the ADL is only going to help white supremacists and fascists with this kind of language, and it's playing right into far right hand. I can't believe how dangerous this is going to get as they continue to demonize everyone pushing back against the genocide in this way. So he's talking about, of course, Israel, and he's talking about how Israel is the one who's committing a genocide, and how these protests should not be labeled like the anti-Semitic filth that they are. And this guy, of course, is a new hire from academia that believes in this stupid decolonizer language. And what people have to understand, these people would cheer just as much as if, we we're being murdered by Mexican cartels coming in and murdering us and claiming that it's decolonizing America.
Yeah. Literally, Kenan Hodges in the local chat says the leader of Hamas claimed they were being racially hunted like George Floyd.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I have to get that.
I think he actually sent a clip earlier. Maybe you could resend it. We'll go ahead and play it from the locals. I think what's so wild about it, Jay, is that you have the ADL divided on something like that. When you see like a mass atrocity that is completely instigated by a terrorist organization, and you think that that Israel's response in defending itself is genocide, like that's your automatic go-to without like any really substantive evidence that they're not just indiscriminately killing Palestinians. They're just going right towards genocide. Israel has nuclear weapons, right? There is nothing to stop Israel from dropping a nuke on Hamas as without just the hostages, of course, because that's what I forgot. Of course, I forgot the fucking hostages. But in anytime that the two get into a war like this, right? The last time they kept calling it a genocide. They've been calling it a genocide for quite some time.
No, they haven't.
Even before this war, even before there were hostages there, they could have enacted that genocide anytime they wanted to. and yet they have
right, or do ethnic cleansing and all that kind of stuff. And what is this fucking ethnic cleansing they're talking about? Palestinians still have their religion, they still have their identity, they still have all of that kind of stuff. And not only that, they have gone. There's more than 5 million people living in between the West Bank and Gaza. Like, if they're wanting to do a genocide, they're doing a fucking terrible job at it.
Really terrible job.
When Hitler was gassing the Jews were on the brink of being extinct. That is what it constitutes of a fucking genocide.
Yeah, I mean,
not this arbitrary garbage because they don't want people coming in that rapes their women and parades them. That like you said, like kills them indiscriminately. There was a Jewish girl who was completely handicapped in a wheelchair, disabled completely. That was killed, and her caretaker was killed. These are the type of sick fucking people that we're talking about here. These people do not deserve any kind of sympathy whatsoever when it's talking about Hamas. They don't deserve any like let go of the gas. Israel needs to go in there right now, kill as many of them as they can, save as many people as they can, and fucking just cripple them.
Hold on, Jay. You mean the terrorists, right?
Yes, Hamas. Go in there and kill as many Hamas as possible. And then you can hear this guy here on Vice right now.
أنا أغتنم هذه الفرصة وإحنا بنعيش ذكرى القتل المجرم العنصري لجورج فلويد. جورج فلويد قتل في مثل هذه الأيام نتيجة منهجية عنصرية موجودة لدى أشخاص. اليوم هذه العنصرية التي قتل بها جورج فلويد يمارسها الاحتلال ضدنا وضد أهلنا. أنا أغتنم هذه الفرصة.
Like, he says this after what we saw Hamas do to the Jewish people, like what they wanted, like this is the greatest fucking example and like what we could see in the future of how these people treat Jews and what they think of Jews. And honestly, they fucked up big time. I think they fucked up very, very big. Nobody is seeing these sympathetic cries from people like fucking Rashida Tlaib and actually having any kind of sympathy towards her whatsoever.
Yeah, let's play this clip.
You know what's so hard sometimes is watching those videos and the people telling the kids don't cry and like let them cry. And they're shaking, and somebody, you know this, they keep telling them not to cry in Arabic. They can cry, I can cry, we all can cry. If we're not crying, something is wrong. And so I'm telling you right now, President Biden, not all America's with you on this one. And you need to wake up and understand that. We are literally watching people commit genocide and killing the vast majority just like this. And we still stand by and say nothing. We will remember this. But all of you, you need to know, I swear to God, Allah, you are on the right side of history. You are. You're doing everything possible to save lives.
And again, nothing about the hostages or the atrocities that Hamas committed. Zero.
Yeah. Sounder on local says, I'm telling you now, that motherfucker is not real. I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you, Allah is not real.
Oh man.
And I would love to see her reaction. From the video I saw of the first responder on what Hamas did to those families. What she has to say about any of that kind of stuff. What she has to say about also here we have the Atlantic.
Oh yeah, the Atlantic.
That Hamas really discovered hostage-taking manual says to kill the difficult ones and use hostages as human shields.
This is from the Atlantic of all publications. Okay, the Atlantic is not necessarily friendly to like logically sound people. And what I'm saying, the Atlantic is oftentimes very retarded. In this case,
yes, they are. I mean,
so
they have Tom bitching it to Nicole. I mean, but Graham Wood is like one of the last ones that is actually a really, really good read on the Atlantic. And
yeah, and he's focused on terrorism. So I think he wrote something that was critical of, I think,
I forgot I wasn't following him on this account.
Wait, what?
No, I used to follow him on like 12 different accounts, but I forgot I wasn't following him on this one.
This time. How dare you? So the Atlantic reporting this is quite fascinating, because what do they stand to gain from publishing this, Jay? Right? It doesn't advance their agenda at all. In fact, it probably hurts it, because a lot of the people who read the Atlantic are all liberals and commies and socialists, and all they want to do is control our lives. So this is basically a massive boon, and not even a boon. It's actually, I mean, it's a terrible fucking story. But it is critical of Hamas. It paints Hamas in a pretty, paints Hamas as a very nefarious and malicious group, which is really interesting considering how many people have excused and justified the actions and the atrocities committed by Hamas. So good job, Atlantic. Thank you for once reporting something that is substantive, at least in recent memory. And the fact that we have here that Hamas is doing this, why isn't anybody out in the streets fucking protesting Hamas? You might see people who are Israeli and Jewish who are out there in the streets protesting all the hatred that they're getting from, or the attacks committed by Hamas, but you never see any Muslims going out and protesting fucking Hamas. Well, why do you think that is, Jay? We're both, well, I'm Muslim. You, for in many cases, used to be Muslim. I probably think you still tell your dad you're Muslim. I don't know if he watches the show, but
God, I hope he doesn't.
What I mean to say, Jay, is it's not, to them, it's not of any concern what Hamas does with respect to Jews.
It's
want it to happen.
It's a very, look, every single person that calls for de-escalation and a ceasefire that is not saying that Hamas must surrender and release the hostages supports Hamas 100%. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it or anything. Mehdi Hassan, Wajed Ali, fucking any of these other intellectual people who are posting on social media trying to sympathize or garner sympathies for the Palestinian people, don't, their words weigh nothing. It's like watching dogs take a shit when you watch them make these tweets or go on the shows and make these claims. And not only is it that they use hostages as human shields, and everybody wants to talk about war crimes, aiming at the schools is a war crime and blah, blah, blah.
Turning off electricity. Turning off the electricity is
a war crime. Operating military facilities just near a school or near a hospital is a war crime. They are operating within the hospital. They are operating within the hospital, within residential buildings, within schools. That is what they're doing, and that is Hamas. And if you want to have a better diplomatic solution that ends bloodshed, there you go. You say Hamas surrenders completely.
This is a massive stain on the face of Islam. And Jay knows a lot about stains.
Oh, We're gonna know a lot about them together.
We are.
It's a month away, baby. A month away.
So you know how Biden referenced how he said, "Oh, here we go again." Okay, here's the main difference. Okay, and after 9/11, most Muslims in the West condemned the acts of Al Qaeda and for the terrorist attack on September 11th. And a lot of these Muslims who condemned the attack were wrongly targeted. Some were killed, but not all. There were some people who were faced with, a little bit more scrutiny than others. I, for example, used to joke all the time about how I never get stopped at the airport because I'm so white.
Man, I was like, after 9/11 and stuff, people were like looking at my passport. Muhammad, you've been randomly selected. Please follow me. Like every single time.
Every single time I walk through the airport, I never get searched. It's actually like my great superpower. Really saves time in a pinch.
Oh, dude, I'm just looking at this tweet right now, which it's nuts. Can you imagine this live on air? So, longtime former NBC News foreign correspondent Martin Fletcher just told Stephanie on 11th Hour that 2 members of his wife's family are among the hostages in Gaza. They're Americans.
Holy shit!
I know. It's fucking nuts. It's nuts, and I'm really surprised that we're not, as Americans, focusing on that as a bigger issue to unite America against Hamas. I mean, I still, every time I watch, look, whatever you want to say about the Bush answer and what he did with Iraq and all that kind of stuff was wrong, but what he did right was how the moments afterwards, when it happened,
After
he was
9/11,
and he's like, I hear you, and pretty soon, the fuckers who did this are going to hear you too. Like, that's the type of attitude we need to have towards Hamas. Because
just also, if you remember, 9 months prior, during the 2000 election period, it was one of the most contested elections in U.S. history of how close it was, coming down to Palm Beach County, Florida, with the hanging Chad incident. And then 9 months later, this happens, and somehow George W. Bush's, approval ratings shot through the fucking roof. I don't think there's been a single president in the history of presidential approval polling who had such a high approval rating than George W. Bush after 9/11. I don't think we've ever seen that ever happen. And here's the thing, Jay, you and I both want to root for Biden because we want America to succeed, because we want Biden to do the right thing, right?
Right.
It's not like we want Biden to do horribly. Unfortunately, we live in the real world, and that's just not how it is, okay? And Biden's doing what we think is not in the interest of the United States. It's not in the interest of the American people. And that's why we feel the need to call him on his bullshit. Hence the title of this episode being Address These Nuts, Biden. And really, if you think about how we're so wound up and talk about like the political battles nonstop, like it's all bullshit in the end of the day, right, Jay? It's all bullshit.
It is. It is.
At the end of the day, we are all Americans, and we don't when Americans never unite better than after we're attacked by a foreign power. Do you ever watch the movie Watchmen?
Yeah.
There was a show later that came on, I think HBO or something like that.
It was HBO, yeah.
Yeah, it was on in 2019 or something like that. In any event, Jay, was it 21? Doesn't matter. I'm losing out on time. Where was I going? I'm thinking
united after a terrorist attack.
Watch me. You know how Dr. Manhattan basically creates a massive explosion within both and during the Cold War, in both the United States, I think in New York City, and then in Moscow and Russia. And because both of them were attacked by what was seen a foreign entity in Dr. Manhattan, the Cold War ended and both nations united together. And that was basically what you saw happen on 9/11. And we were very close to having it happen another time. But I don't know. This whole thing. This has to be a fucking AI written script because nothing makes sense here, Jay.
No, it doesn't. You would think like we would be much more aggressive in terms of how we treat Hamas and Palestine, and in a way of demanding things change within Palestine and Hamas in order for us to bring back the American hostages and also have retribution for the 40 Americans that were killed.
Oh, it's 40 now? I thought it was 30.
I think it's 40 Americans killed, or 30 Americans killed, 12 hostages right now that they know of.
I mean, this is so wild, Jay. And this is the problem. If you give Hamas $100 million after committing Israel's version of 9/11, and I think Biden said in his speech when he was in Israel that it was like 15 9/11s, just based, and Batia mentioned that it would be equivalent to 40,000 Americans dying on a single attack. And then she went to say, think if New Jersey was wiped out, to which Jay and I said, wow, sign me up.
Right. It was like, don't make us support this. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Wow, this sounds cool.
New Jersey. Yeah, I like it. What does New Jersey ever give to the United States anyways?
There's
Fuck
nothing.
That. It's only 2 states worse than like Ohio.
Yeah, it honestly, like, there should have never been a 2-state solution for New York and New Jersey.
Right.
Terrible.
There shouldn't have been. It should have just it should have kept it with being New York. No, it's like if it happened after 9/11 happened and we gave $100 million to the Taliban. That's exactly what this is, because you're saying you're giving $100 million to Palestine. Where do you think that's going?
Yeah.
Even humanitarian aid from the UN that is for food and what's it called? Vehicles and all that kind of stuff. That's going through Hamas. All of that goes through fucking Hamas, and Hamas uses it to either kill their own fucking citizens or to kill Jews. Like that is their main thing. And for us not to have a leader strong enough to actually come out and say the things that need to be said, to condemn them and also put pressure and force them into it. Instead, he backtracks and gives $100 million to Palestine. The fuck what kind of message are you bringing out there?
It is not the good kind, Jay. It is, this is basically, again, since money is fungible, just like with the Iran assets being released, the $6 billion in assets released to the Iranian regime, money is fungible for the Palestinians. You think that money is going to food, water, medicine? Absolutely fucking not.
It's not. None of that is going to.
It is lining the coffers of Hamas. I mean, you have the Hamas leader living in Qatar, of all places, which, by the way, is a U.S. ally. How the fuck has the U.S. not even taken out the fucking Hamas leader? It is actually. There's so many fucked up things about this, Jay. I can't even begin to number all of them because there's so many fucked up components to it.
Oh, right. And we have an American base in Qatar.
I am delirious now from all the messed up shit that I'm seeing. Just happened in these last 10 10, 11 days.
You want another mind fuck?
Let's hear it.
So this is Ted Lieu. He's a California congressman.
All right, so let me read this out loud. So Robert Wright tweets, no, New York Times didn't botch this. They reported that Palestinians had said it was an Israeli strike, not that it was one. When news is breaking fast, all you can do is report what the key parties are saying. The Times has amended its reporting as the smoke is cleared. Ted Lieu, a Democrat, by the way, Democrat from California.
And a far left,
someone left we routinely dunk on, by the way, says, I agree. The New York Times didn't botch the Gaza hospital story. They did something worse. They intentionally wrote an attention-grabbing headline that falsely pointed the blame at Israel to generate clicks during breaking news without waiting for confirmation or the actual facts. That is insane. To hear that from Ted Lieu is a big fucking deal.
It really is, and he goes a little bit harder on it too. On another tweet that he showcased the actual headline. Yeah, this one right here. Today's lead headline at LA Times. The Times simply accepts that terrorist organization Hamas said, even though it's false. This both sides journalism is factually wrong. A true headline would say rage spreads over Gaza hospital blast amid false narrative from Hamas. Fucking insane. Like that's a mind fuck for me too, because of the way he usually talks about certain things and certain liberties. But we got a rumble rant over at Fat Steven Seagal. $6 billion for Hamas to get new Nikes so they can sneak better.
Did someone say Steven Seagal? Fat Steven.
There we go. Oh, there you go. Fat Steven Seagal. I mean, honestly, it's so good.
These are supposedly blue light glasses, Jay. I don't know how Emily got me them for my birthday as one of many gifts. Not the only gift, but yes, my wife really gifted me Steven Seagal glasses.
I don't think she meant. I don't think she meant for that to happen, but she did.
Fucking Steven Seagal glasses. Just look at that shit. God. Oh my God. That's beautiful.
It's way too good. Emerly765 with a $5 rumble rat. Thanks for a great show, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry for the little fuck up in the middle of it, but
yeah, that was all me.
that happens from time to time.
Literally all me.
You come on this show long enough, you see some boomer action.
There's some serious boomer action happening on this show, and you know, if you are watching right now and you haven't before, go ahead and hit that like, that thumbs up, the follow, and then if you've long-time listener, potentially want to be a first-time caller, go ahead and hit that join button. And if you use the locals promo code, Siraj takes it on the chest, because Jay, I'm taking it on the chest when you come here to Florida.
Oh, I am going to absolutely rock that chest, baby.
Yeah. Oh, I got some like chest.
I am going to get it on your chest.
There you go.
I'm gonna put a nice little J right on.
Little J. So yeah, because I lost to Jay in fantasy football, our first matchup, he has basically the bet was the loser gets their chest waxed, and Jay's gonna wax my chest.
Yes, I am.
So
and we're gonna live stream it. We're gonna live stream it on locals.
We're gonna live stream it on locals. So if you use the promo code Siraj takes it on chest, you actually get an extra month off of what's already 2 months off, because it's a $50 annual subscription. $5 a month is what it translates to. So if you pay monthly, you're paying $60 a year. If you use a normal annual subscription, you're paying for 10 months, but you're getting a full year's worth of content. If you use the promo code, you get an extra month free. So that you're paying really for a total of 9 months.
Yes.
And you get 3 months free. That's pretty fucking sweet. And what do you get when you sign up, Jay?
You get to join us on our Discord where we do things like football fantasy, where I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but at least I beat
me, who's playing football.
Right. And also you had McCaffrey, and like I know enough to know that like McCaffrey and Josh Allen are like elite players in this fucking league. I had Zach Williams.
It's fucking Zach Wilson.
the Jets backup quarterback,
and now current starter. But yes, that's Zach Wilson. Jay.
Okay, I had Zach Wilson on my team, and I still beat you. That was genius play. He got me those 4 points I really needed. And then also you game with us on Sundays. And also get to join us on our you get to join us while we do live streams as well.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe not right away. Like you gotta like get to know us for a bit. But like
like come game with us a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll go on
we'll like don't like, talk to someone, get to know some of the Habibis, and then you work your way up to hanging out with us on the show, on the stream.
Yeah, like we get Carl from Ohio on the show regularly. We get Bart from Flapper.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to watch another one of his documentaries pretty soon.
Emerald 765. Okay, I have to give another $5 for this looking good, guys. Thank you.
Thank you
for thank you, Habibi.
This is what we try to do, Jay. We just try to have people spend their money because they're horny. It's like, but it's funny because our locals is like a reverse OnlyFans where you actually have to pay us for us to get our clothes on. You have to pay to put our clothes on.
Yeah, because they're all like this. Put the shirts back on. Nobody wants to see it.
Yeah, fine. We'll put it back on.
Work your way up to also taking it on the chest.
That's right. And if you actually, what's it called? Want to get some of the cool shit that we got, the shirts we're wearing, the logos, we actually have a link for our store in the description of this, where you actually can get for this one. It's on the what I got is from the premium store. I think Jay, you also got yours from the premium store, right? I think you did. Yeah, that's from the premium store. So maybe I gotta like fucking show you because all of you.
I also got the Earn shirt too.
Oh yeah, so this is the premium store, which is dope as shit. Look at this merch. We got Hail to the Earn. This is the mural right here, the OG mural. This is like the original artwork of me and Jay. You got the HB logo, and you got Habibi Bros. Oh, and then this is a classic. Classic that no one buys. This is the whole crew. This is Siraj and Jay and Earn and Ass. Where's Ernie? I missed that little buddy. I think it's oh shit, it's midnight over here. My wife's gonna kill me.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we went way over.
I know.
But I mean, we did end the stream a little bit early.
We did run into a hiccup. So for those Habibis who are listening to this audio, I apologize for the delay. I actually had to go back and edit it. Which means I'm about to go do that. So you'll get into it late. So Habibis, thank you all to the Habibis and our locals who support us and come to hang out with us and tune in every time we stream. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun entertaining you, Habibis. It's a lot of fun hanging out with you, Jay. I feel like every show we do is only getting better and better. And I'm so excited for the Habibis who are watching right now because they get to like see, they like struggle watched us for so long thinking like, thinking for so long that they were actually like, it's going to be going somewhere. Oh, now here we go. We thrive off of chaos, so to speak. Which
absolutely do.
It's kind of fucked up, but here we are. Well, we try to provide some sanity in the midst of all this chaos. So
inshallah.
So thank you to our producer Ben. Spencer is currently fighting for Hamas, even though he's Jewish. He's like the sole Jew fighting for Hamas.
Yeah, he went. It's really fucking hilarious. He went on to study abroad program, and then look what happens.
Look what happens. And you thought Jews only control the weather.
I know, right? Fuck. They really did give us the worst producer ever.
No, they really did. Thank you, Jay. You did a great job by you.
You too, Habibi.
Love you, Habibi.
Except for that one little fuck up, but you did good.
Wait, what's it? Oh yeah, beside that. All right, Habibis. Y'all be good. Have a great weekend. Inshallah, we'll see you next time. Peace it. Mess it.